Good evening. Welcome to Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Farah Lewis, and tonight we'll be discussing the Affordable Care Act with HealthFirst Assistant Vice President Errol Pierre. We'll be back. Welcome back. We're here with Assistant Vice President of HealthFirst, Errol Pierre. Errol, thank you so much for being here with us this evening.
Thank you. And on behalf of HealthFirst, we're very excited that Beyond Focus allowed us to be here.
And we are so excited to talk about this new policy that has been put out. So the Affordable Care Act has so many different names. It has the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. What name does HealthFirst identify with?
So it's a great question, and we actually need to be conscious of all the different names. So Affordable Care Act is one piece of the bill. It's actually called the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. The Patient Protection Bill is another piece, and together they make up healthcare reform, which is another name.
Okay.
And certain political parties like to call healthcare reform Obamacare, and that's just saying it's the legislation that President Obama signed into law. Yeah. But altogether, the Patient Protection Bill and the Affordable Care Act, they come together, they make healthcare reform. It's all the same thing, and you know, there's many different components to it that is very complex.
But we should identify with Patient Protective Act.
The name that probably is best is the Affordable Care Act, the ACA. That has 80% of all the provisions that's in healthcare reform is in that portion, the ACA bill.
Okay. So what is the Affordable Care Act for those of our audience members who don't know?
Yeah. So the Affordable Care Act, again, healthcare reform, and it basically has three main drivers. One is lower the cost of insurance. Two is to provide access to people to get more insurance, and three is to protect patients that are getting health care. And so what that means, so today, if you look at us versus other nations, we have the highest rates of healthcare costs, above Canada, above Germany, above France. So one big component of it is lowering that cost so that it's more affordable for everybody else. Two, 50 million people are uninsured. So it's 15% of the country doesn't have insurance. The other piece of the Affordable Care Act is how to get those 50 million people into an insurance product so they're covered. And then three, there's some provisions like rescissions, which means a health insurer would take away your insurance policy if they found out that you might have put information that wasn't correct.
Okay.
Or lifetime maximums, which means if you hit a certain dollar amount, your insurance policy ends. There's certain of those protections, that's the patient protection piece, that's also in the act, so that once you have insurance, it actually takes care of you. Some people have insurance policies, but they don't cover anything. So give them insurance, lower the cost, and then while they have insurance, protect them. That's really the three big buckets of the Healthcare Reform Act.
So HealthFirst covers New York City, or are you guys nationwide right now?
We are in New York City. We also have a plan in Jersey.
So tri-state area.
Tri-state area, in Long Island as well, and then our Medicare plans are in Westchester. So we're in the tri-state area.
Tri-state area. Do you know what the percentage is of people who are uninsured?
I can speak specifically to New York City, which is the market that we're going into, these new health exchanges, which we'll get to a little bit later. There are 2.3 million people uninsured in New York State. It's a big number
Yeah.
out of, the millions that are in New York State. 75, 80% of them are in New York City, the 5 boroughs, which is roughly 1.8 million. And then specifically in Brooklyn and in Queens, they make up together about 500,000 or more uninsured. So the 5 boroughs really is the linchpin to getting this off the ground, because it's in the city where diverse communities are, low-income communities that have the highest potential for getting insurance because of the Affordable Care Act.
So we can assume the largest 2 populations of uninsured is Brooklyn and Queens.
Definitely.
And what can we do about that?
So one of the things we're doing is these types of TV shows. We launched the website exchangefacts.org, which provides education. People that know about the Affordable Care Act are usually in the industry. It hasn't got out to folks that aren't specific in the industry, that aren't at a hospital, that don't work at a doctor's office. So what we're trying to do is get this information out to the public. The dates are coming up very quick, as you know.
And we'll discuss that a little bit later.
And so what we're trying to do is explain the Affordable Care Act. Like you said, there's many different names, and it's very confusing. And so we're trying to distill it and meet people where they are. Our website right now is in English and Spanish. It will be coming out in Chinese, which will be a first for New York City. And so it's really education and promotion.
So besides TV shows, are you guys going out into communities and having forums?
Yeah, we have. So we have a VP of External Affairs that's all they do. So they are in the community. You've probably seen healthfirst RVs, tables, ads on bus stations. We're everywhere, and that green leaf is the signature to say, if you have a question about healthcare reform, ask us.
Yeah.
And we do community events. We're at, especially in the summer months, we're at every festival. We're on the street. We're out there. We're at churches.
Throughout New York City?
Throughout New York City, definitely. And
are you guys doing the same thing in Jersey?
In Jersey, not so much. And so I'll explain. In the Affordable Care Act, it allowed states to decide who wanted to run components of the bill. And so Governor Cuomo of New York said he wanted to run his own state exchange.
Got it.
And so because Governor Cuomo did that, we're very involved in how it's built, and we're taking a proactive approach. Our neighbor in Jersey, Governor Christie, decided not to implement the healthcare exchanges himself. He took a step back, so the federal government now has to come into New Jersey and set it up themselves. And for us, the opportunity of the uninsured was so big in New York. We're going to concentrate on New York first, and then see.
And then move forward into the other.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break and be right back, and we'll discuss the pros and the cons of the Affordable Care Act.
Sounds great.
All right, we'll be right back. We're back with Assistant Vice President of HealthFirst, Pierre. Errol. So tell us the pros and the cons of the Affordable Care Act.
So I'll try to start with the pros first.
Okay.
Again, 50 million people uninsured. We talked about New York City having the highest rates for the whole state. We specifically talked about Brooklyn and Queens having the highest rates. This is a great opportunity for folks who could not get insurance to get insurance. So today, if you're over 65, you can get Medicare. That's public insurance. If you earn below roughly $16,000 a year, you can get Medicaid. That's primarily what HealthFirst sells today, Medicaid and Medicare products. But if you're stuck in the middle, you are under 65 and you earn above 16,000, you're sort of in this loophole. And that's what the Affordable Care Act really answers.
Okay.
So, when we're in Brooklyn, 30% of our encounters with people are folks that fall in that bucket. They've earned too much for Medicaid and they're not old enough for Medicare. And prior to the ACA, we didn't really have enough products to offer them that were affordable. After 2014, when this is implemented in full, we'll be able to offer them low insurance. And we spoke about the website in the 3 languages, but we also do any language that is needed in our tri-state area. We actually have, we spoke about the RVs. We have these folks, community folks that go in to different neighborhoods and they speak various languages, Creole, anything else.
You
and
guys have translators.
That's we have
you can
translators.
request it.
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah. And we can go to churches or community centers and explain all these different components of the Affordable Care Act.
So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a current health insurance holder and the Affordable Care Act is coming into play. Where does that leave us?
So good question. So the Affordable Care Act was signed in 2010, and it has phased-in approaches. So things that happened back then were, if you had insurance, you could add your child to your plan up to age 26. New York State actually pushed it up to 29, but that was an ACA component that happened back in 2010. In 2012, you might have remembered, there was this whole big brouhaha about contraception and the Affordable Care Act covering contraception for women. That was another stage in the approach, so that women don't have to pay out of pocket for contraception because the insurance carries it. There was other things that happened, like preventive care services. If you went for an annual physical or your checkup with a doctor, you weren't supposed to pay a copay. That's been now implemented. So there's been provisions that have happened. Moving forward, there's now the idea of making sure that the insurance you have is equitable. And so what that means is, what's the deductible? And deductible is what a person pays before the insurance plan starts to kick in. So say you make $25,000 and you have a $2,500 deductible. 10% of your salary you have to pay out of pocket before your insurance kicks in. The Affordable Care Act says that's not fair, and through the exchanges it lowers that deductible for specific plans so that it's much more easier for the person to get. So pre-2014 there were some provisions like age 26, the women's health care benefits, and then post-2014 it's more things around making sure all the benefits cover all the same services, and that even if you have insurance, it actually is usable. It's not something where you have to spend so much out of pocket before the insurance even kicks in.
So that's great because everybody's protected at that point. All right, so talk to us about the exchangefax.org, the website that healthfirst created.
Right, so we just launched it, and it's a website that literally goes through so many FAQs, frequently asked questions. So if people want to know, do I have to get insurance? By 2014, with very few exceptions, people have to get insurance. They have to purchase insurance. And then the next question is, well, how do I do it? And the exchangefax.org goes through the process. The exchanges is really, and you know, we talked about the different names. Health exchanges actually has been changed to the marketplace, so they've been calling them the marketplace. And New York State might even come out with another name to call it. So
all the names.
It's even better to always check our website because we will keep up-to-date information out there.
So you'll update every time something changes.
Yeah, the intent is you want a trusted source, because if you Google ACA, you'll end up finding so many differing things that one says one thing, one says another thing, and you don't know how to decipher which one's right and which one's wrong. So we try to have the website where we say, listen, we're implementing it. We have almost 1 million members in your community, and we're here to advocate for the community. And so, you know, use us as a trusted guide to understand the complexities of the Affordable Care Act. You know, one of the good things about HealthFirst is we're nonprofit, and we're owned by 20 hospitals. And so if we make any profit, which we call excess revenue, we give it back to hospitals to take care of uncompensated care or people who don't have insurance. So, you know, everything we put on that website is purposeful for folks who need insurance. We want to make sure everyone has access to affordable care.
So you guys have a lot of dates on the websites for this year, 2013. What are the most important dates? Biggest
date right now, and I'll say it to everyone else, is October 1st. October 1st is the start of open enrollment.
Okay.
So
that's for everyone?
Everybody.
Okay.
So what that means is, if you do not have insurance, on October 1st, you'll be able to go to a website. As soon as the website's known, it'll be on exchangefax.org, and you'll be able to go in and put in some demographic information, your name, your age, your salary, and you'll be able to see all the different plans that's available to you and what's affordable and what's not. even if you have insurance, you can just go in to check out if you're
Eligible for other plans?
exactly, if you're eligible for other opportunities. And that's the misnomer about the Affordable Care Act. If you have health insurance, you can keep it, but if you have health insurance, you can also have the opportunity to get other health insurance through the exchange if you're eligible.
Will that affect where, let's say you're an employee at a specific place, does that affect the plans with
It does. So it's a great question.
So I'm going to let you answer that in a second. We're going to take a quick break, and then you can let us know how that affects those of us that already have plans with our employers.
Sounds good.
We'll be back. Welcome back. So my last question to you was, if you are already a health insurance holder and you say there's these other options that we have, how does that work for us?
Great question. So even as of last week, the ACA is changing.
Okay.
And the Obama administration came out with an update that the employer mandate has been delayed till 2015. And what that means is, prior to their announcement, every large employer who had 50 or more employees was required to offer insurance. And if they didn't, they would face penalties. And
The employer?
The employer would face penalties,
Okay.
$2,000 to $3,000 per employee per year.
Wow.
That mandate got postponed to 2015. One of the issues around it was just the reporting requirements to be able to do it. It was
Because they would need enough time to actually...
Exactly.
Okay.
So they pushed that back. So what that means for employees is employees of small businesses, less than 50 employees, their employer doesn't have to offer insurance. But they're required to get insurance because there's an individual mandate. And so if they don't get insurance, they may face penalties even though the employer doesn't offer insurance. And then the employer who has employees over 50 employees, the large employers, they have a delay. So they can continue to not offer insurance if they do so now for one more year. So if you have insurance from your employer, you can check and to see if you're eligible for subsidies or to see if there's better coverage for you. And it doesn't do anything to the employer if they're a small business because there's no penalty. And for the large employer, if they say the large employer offers you insurance and it's more than 9.5% of your salary, you are then eligible for subsidies on the exchange. And subsidies defray the cost, so it makes the cost much cheaper. I'll just give you an example. Say I made $20,000 a year. Roughly, I could get there's plans on the exchange. I could get a plan about 3 to 4% of my salary, versus today I might spend 10, 20% of my salary for the same care.
Wow.
And if I earned between 133% of the federal poverty level, which is about $16,000 a year, or 400% of the federal poverty level, which is about $45,000 a year, you can get those tax credits that lower the cost of insurance.
Okay.
And the tax credits are real time. So it's not like you buy it at the high price and then you go back and do your taxes and get the money back. Right when you purchase it, you purchase the subsidized amount.
Okay.
So the plan could be $500 a month, but you only pay 3% of your salary, so you're paying $50 a month. And the difference, the federal government's giving to the insurer, and it keeps you out of the middle. So it's much more streamlined.
Okay.
So whether you have insurance from your employer or not, you can still go to the exchange website and determine your eligibility to see if you can get something or not.
And that would be up in October.
That would be up in October.
So on the actual exchange site, that's where we'll see what other plans would be eligible
Yeah,
for.
and I think of it like Orbitz or Expedia.com, where you buy an airline ticket, you'll see all these different players. And it's apples to apples comparison. So you don't have to go to one person's website, write down the information, print some stuff out, then go to somebody else's website.
Everything is right there.
Everything's right there for you. And you can put in even, like, say, your physician information, and the only plans that will show is the plans that have your physician in the network. The worst thing that happens is people want to purchase a plan, but the doctor doesn't accept it. That's an issue that happens. So the website really makes things much easier, much more transparent for consumers to purchase insurance.
And how long will that site be up?
So the exchange website, open enrollment for year one, because it's so new and it's so complex, is going to be 6 months. So it lasts from October 1st of 2013 all the way through March 31st of 2014. You have 6 months to go in and check. And the reason behind that is you may get stopped while you're on the website. And what that means is, say I moved and I didn't let the DMV know I moved. When I put in my address and my name and my salary, the exchange website may say, hey, we have a different address for you. How come? And it may stop you in the process, and you'll have to verify, oh, I moved, here's my new,
You could do all that on the website.
You could do all that on the website. I moved, here's a utility bill showing my new website, let me continue. And then once they get the information and they deem it that it's okay, then you go back to the website and you can continue on the process. So they're giving you 6 months to get through that. The New York State thinks 50% of the members that enroll will go through the online method. The other 50% might call or do it through paper.
Or at the events that you guys have.
Definitely, or at the events we have. The exchangefax.org website, which we're doing as educational until this website's up, we're going to have it up and running all the way through. And one of the reasons is the government website is just in English and Spanish. We're going to make sure there's tutorials, information in other languages as well, so that even if you're on the government website, you can use ours as a resource to help you through the process, or if you have questions.
Now, for the immigrants and other people who don't speak English or don't have access to the computer and don't know how to use the
Great
computer,
question.
how can they get in contact with you guys in order for them to be educated on this?
Yes, so we have a website. I look at the website. We have an email address, and I look at the email address all the time. It's healthexchanges@healthfirst.org. Healthexchanges@healthfirst.org. And any questions you have, you can send it, and we will definitely get you a response within 24, 48 hours. Anything, if you have a request of, I want to do a education at my church, or I want to do education at the library, or whatever have you, in this particular language, definitely let us know, and we'll come out and assist you in doing that. Exchangefax.org is our educational website. That's up and running. It's live now. You can go there for questions.
So beyond March 2014, it'll still be up?
It's still up, yes, because say you have something called a qualifying event, and that means you have a lifestyle change. I move, I get married, I have a baby, I lose my job, I get a raise at my job, or I get a pay decrease. Those are all things that trigger a lifestyle change, so you can go actually back to the exchange website and see if you're eligible for something else.
Okay.
So, and this is actually very important, I'm glad you brought it up. So the tax credits that you get from the federal government to lower the cost of insurance, they're based on your salary. So if your salary changes, for purposes of taxes, you have to tell the government, I either made more money or less money, because that changes how much subsidy you get. If you don't, when you do your taxes in 2015, they'll do a reconciliation. So the worst thing you would want is that you got too much subsidy, they find out, and then they're asking for money back. Right. So you definitely, if you get a raise, go back to the exchange, re-identify how much you earn, and it'll change the subsidy, but at least when you do taxes, you'll be okay.
Okay, so just quickly tell our audience where they can reach you, or someone from your office, and just give them any additional information that they may need.
Definitely. So Errol Pierre, and my email address is epierre@healthfirst.org. And you can reach me, and we'll make sure to get any information back to you.
Thank you so much for educating us on the Affordable Care Act.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll definitely keep in touch with you and continue to promote the website.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Beyond Focus TV. We'll see you next week. Have a good evening.
C'est pas à s'oublier un peu, quoi, en écoutant cette musique.